It's that time of the year when we shine a light on the underrated stars who have slipped under the radar in the Premier League. These players might not always grab the headlines, but they all deserve more recognition for their efforts. Goalkeeper, Bernd Leno. It may seem strange to suggest Bernd Leno is underrated, but his work is often lost among the success of his fellow keepers. Last season, during Arsenal's transition under Mikel Arteta, Leno was fantastic. He saved 77.6% of efforts faced, a stat only beaten by Spurs' Hugo Lloris. According to post-shot expected goals, he prevented 6.1 more goals than he should, putting him among the top 5 keepers in the division. But when injury cut his season short, the exceptional Emiliano Martinez grabbed the spotlight. This season, Martinez has continued to shine, now at Aston Villa. The Argentinian leads the charge for save percentage and is receiving all the plaudits he deserves. But his achievements have once again overshadowed Leno, who has continued to stand strong with 8 clean sheets and a save rate of 71%. What's more, no keeper completes more defensive actions outside their penalty area than the German. Often overlooked for his country too, Leno has been a consistent performer at the highest level since breaking through at Bayer Leverkusen in 2011. It's time the 29-year-old was finally held up in the regard he deserves. Centre-back, Liam Cooper. We all know what a breath of fresh air Leeds United have been to the Premier League. Their relentless attack has made them a spectacle to behold, enshrining Marcelo Bielsa into folklore and making stars of Patrick Bamford and Rafinha. But spare a thought for their captain Liam Cooper, the unsung heroes in the Peacock's machine. Leading the Premier League for successful pressures, along with ranking 7th for tackles won, it's Cooper's tireless ball recovery skills that help set Leeds in motion. Bielsa's outfit may have conceded 46 times, worsened only by Palace and West Brom, but that comes with the territory of their all-out attack. Quite remarkably, the 30-year-old hadn't featured in the Premier League since breaking through at Hull City in 2009. You would never have known he has spent his entire career floating through the various divisions of the English football pyramid. It's no surprise that Scotland have enjoyed an upturn in fortune since Cooper entered the fold, and the former Chesterfield man should be one of the first names on their team sheet come the Euros. Centre-back, Joachim Andersen and Tosin Adarabioyo. It's only recently that the incredible efforts of Fulham's defence have come to light, in particular that of Tosin Adarabioyo and Joachim Andersen, two centre-halves that arrived on a chaotic summer deadline day in West London. Prior to their arrival, Fulham were a mess, played 4, lost 4, conceded 11. Last in the table, few gave them any hopes of survival, with Jamie Carragher infamously declaring he was certain Fulham would be relegated. Almost 6 months later, and suddenly the Cottagers are pushing to leave the bottom 3, powered on by their excellent defensive record. Since the start of December, only Man City have conceded fewer goals than Scott Parker's outfit, who have lost just 5 times in 2021. Anderson, on loan after failing to impress at Lyon, has quickly become a leader at the back, and captain during Tom Kearney's absence. The Dane has proved immense in the air, winning 91 aerial duels, and making a colossal 7.8 clearances per 90. It's a number beaten only by Burnley's Ben Mee and Anderson's partner in crime Tosin. Signed for a meagre £2 million from Man City, albeit with a 20% sell-on clause, the 6'4" giant has wasted no time in making an impression in the Premier League, having shone on loan with Blackburn last season. With an 85% pass accuracy, the young Englishman is calm on the ball and positionally sound, making 1.2 blocks per game. Combined with his stunning clearance statistics, Tosin is putting together 10.6 defensive actions per 90. For Anderson, it's 11.7. Although Alphonse Areola also deserves a huge amount of credit in goal, Parker will be delighted about how quickly his defensive duo have gelled. And you get the feeling that even if Fulham do succumb to relegation, neither Anderson or Tosin will be joining them. Before I go any further, just a quick reminder to subscribe to Football Daily and hit that notification bell to never miss one of our fantastic 11s. Wing, Solly March. We recently highlighted Yves Bissouma as a star every big side should be watching. Rather than repeat ourselves for our underrated 11, we decided on another of Brighton's rough diamonds, Solly March. Having already made over 200 appearances for the Seagulls at just 26, March is constantly improving. And he is clearly thriving under the inventive tuition of Graham Potter, putting in one of his best campaigns to date. 2.8 shot creating actions per 90 are the highest in the left wing back's career, along with his dribble completion rate of 65%. No one at Brighton but the injured Tariq Lamptey comes close to matching his 7.5 progressive carries per game either. In addition, his defensive work rate is hard to ignore, completing an impressive 4 tackles and interceptions per 90. Sadly for March, his finishing leaves much to be desired. So far he has only hit the target with 20% of his efforts, yielding 1 goal all season. But this is something everyone at Brighton is guilty of, so perhaps it's the system rather than the player himself that is falling short of expectations. Midfield, Curtis Jones. In any other season, Curtis Jones would have dominated headlines thanks to his assured performances for Liverpool. But this is a year like no other, particularly for the Reds. where any positivity has been lost beneath their disastrous title defence. Just 20 years old, Jones is already closing in on 50 appearances for his boyhood side, and he will enter the history books as Liverpool's youngest ever captain, wearing the armband against Shrewsbury Town in a League Cup tie. Inevitably, he has benefited from sweeping injuries that have decimated their midfield. But even so, in recent weeks, Klopp has turned to Jones over the likes of Milner, Oxlade-Chamberlain and Shaqiri. His recent goal against Sheffield United was his first of the season, a game where he managed 4 shots and completed 26 of 27 passes attempted. Just 2 games earlier, it was his assist that inspired a victory at RB Leipzig in the Champions League too. Liverpool's malaise means the Euros may be a little way off for the young Englishman, but don't bet against him becoming a 3-line star in the future once order is restored. Midfield, Mason Mount. If there was still any debate over Mason Mount's ability, now it's surely over. One of Thomas Tuchel's first discoveries at Chelsea was just how good the young Englishman really is, with his tireless work ethic and eye for goal making him a crucial element to the Blues' success. Some of his numbers have been truly elite. At the time of writing, he's completed 187 progressive carries and 499 pressures, the third most of any player in the division. He is also third for key passes with 71, and for shot creating actions with a massive 5 per 90. That's not to mention his actual return of 5 goals and 3 assists, bettered only by Timo Werner for goal involvements at Chelsea. By far their best player this season, the 22-year-old already looks certain to start at the Euros. England may boast some of the most exciting attacking potential in the world, but perhaps Mount is the real ace in their pack. Midfield, Stuart Armstrong. Southampton's season has been the definition of boom and bust. Top of the league in November, the Saints look destined for Europe. But a catalogue of defeats in 2021, including that 9-0 battering at Man United, has left them scraping for survival. Amid the crumbling foundations of their season, Stuart Armstrong has remained resilient. A right winger at heart, the Scot has posted 7 goal involvements and also leads his side for passes into the penalty area, shot creating actions, while trailing just Carl Walker-Peters for carries per game too. Meanwhile, his defensive work rate is also excellent. 3.6 tackles and interceptions per 90 is the 4th highest at the Saints, with only Moussa Djenepo retrieving the ball more than him in the final third. Sadly for Armstrong, he has fallen victim to his own versatility. With a mounting injury list, Ralph Hasenhüttl has been forced to use him out of position across the midfield. Naturally, this has held the 28-year-old back, though once the dust settles, he should finally get the credit his efforts deserve. Wing, Anwar El Ghazi. Throwback to October, and all was not well for Aston Villa winger Anwar El Ghazi. Following a poor defeat to Stoke City in the League Cup, El Ghazi suspended his social media accounts after receiving a torrent of abuse. Henry Lansbury and Courtney House were forced to do the same. So when the 25-year-old returned to convert the winning penalty against Wolves 2 months later, club captain Tyrone Mings demanded an apology from the shameful villain fans guilty of driving El Ghazi away. Since then, the Dutch star has been a player reborn, going on to score 6 from just over 800 minutes of action. Over 56% of his efforts are hitting the target, while his shot creating actions per 90 have almost doubled to 4.2 from the season before. A product of the Ajax Academy, El Ghazi never deserved the hate he received. Freed from online negativity, it's no surprise to see a quality player emerge. Hopefully more fans recognise the benefits of being kinder going forward. Forward, Richarlison. For Everton, this will be remembered as the seasoned Dominic Calvert-Lewin burst onto the scene. DCL has blossomed under Carlo Ancelotti, now the club's top scorer and an England international. Also quietly benefiting from the Italian is fellow forward Richarlison. There is no denying that the 23-year-old's goal return of 6 could be better, especially with an XG of 7.6. But that doesn't take into account Richarlison's switch to the left wing to accommodate Calvert-Lewin. Now dropping deeper to support the fullbacks, the Brazilian's touches in the defensive third and midfield have all risen on last season. This has caused his shot numbers to fall, but also meant his progressive carries have jumped to 5.5 per game as he drives on from deep. This selfless shift means Richarlison is well on course to beat his career best return of 4 league assists, with his 0.4 goal creating actions per 90 his highest ever in an Everton shirt. More complete than he has ever been, once he becomes an even more lethal finisher, Richarlison will be a force to be reckoned with. Forward, Callum Wilson. Where on earth would Newcastle be without Callum Wilson? Spearheading one of the most lacklustre attacks in the division, Wilson has done incredibly well to hit 10 this term. Never before in the Premier League have his touches in the opposition box dipped below 5 per game, while his 1.8 shots per 90 is only a marginal improvement on his disappointing last season with Bournemouth. As a result, the Englishman has become more clinical than ever, currently scoring with every other shot on target. In what was a hammer blow to Steve Bruce, Wilson picked up an injury at the start of February that could see him out until April. Without the 29-year-old, Newcastle have failed to win, scoring just twice in 4 games. In fact, their next highest scorer in the side is Miguel Almiron on 4. A 4-time England international, Newcastle did well to snap up Wilson for £20 million last summer. Should they go down, then he will surely move on, as a talent like that is wasted at St James's Park. So guys, that was our underrated 11 for this year's Premier League. What did you guys think of the list, and did we miss anyone out? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you like it, leave a comment and click on screen for another great Football Daily video, and I'll catch you next time.